In the year 2018, the charming suburb of Prospect, located near Blacktown in Australia, was graced by the presence of a 71-year-old widow named Nadia Sensoy. She shared her life with her cherished son, Selim Sensoy. Born in the 1940s, Nadia's early years remain somewhat of a mystery. However, her nearly 4-decade residence in Prospect made her a beloved figure within the community. Neighbors often spoke of her with warmth and affection, recalling her unwavering willingness to assist those in need. Whether it was offering rides to the local market or delighting them with her delectable baked goods, Nadia was a constant source of support and kindness. Her selflessness left an indelible mark on many lives, earning her the admiration and respect of all who had the pleasure of knowing her. Family was the cornerstone of Nadia's existence. She was a proud mother of 5 and a devoted grandmother to 17 grandchildren. Her home was a sanctuary of love and nurturing, where she dedicated herself to fostering a close-knit family environment. However, the tranquility of Prospect was shattered when tragedy struck. In December 2018, Nadia, the beloved matriarch and friend to many, mysteriously disappeared without a trace. The last sighting of her was on Thursday, December 6, 2018, near her residence. The ensuing days were filled with anguish for her family, friends, and the community that had come to adore her. It was entirely out of character for Nadia to vanish without a word, leaving everyone in a state of bewilderment and concern. As the days turned into a harrowing wait with no sign of her, the Sensoy family felt compelled to act. On Tuesday, December 11, 2018, they reported Nadia missing, igniting a fervent search for her. The local Blacktown Police Command responded swiftly, mobilizing a dedicated team of officers to launch an extensive search operation, hoping to uncover any leads regarding her disappearance. Despite their diligent efforts, searches conducted around her family home yielded no promising results, and the atmosphere of unease deepened with each passing moment. Both her family and the authorities were profoundly worried for her safety. Where could she possibly be? As the investigation unfolded, detectives stumbled upon an intriguing revelation. They uncovered that Nadia had scheduled multiple appointments before she vanished and had not touched her bank account since that fateful day. This revelation only intensified the enigma surrounding her disappearance, leaving a trail of questions in its wake. Investigators tirelessly pursued every lead, yearning for a fragment of evidence that might illuminate the path to the missing woman. They disseminated a detailed description of Nadia to the public, in hopes that someone might have crossed her path. She was characterized as a Mediterranean or Middle Eastern woman, approximately 165 centimeters tall, slender in stature, with short, dyed brown hair. Yet despite the diligent efforts of law enforcement, no one stepped forward with any insights. As the months slipped by, optimism waned and trepidation took hold. The chilling possibility of her having met with foul play loomed large, a thought that weighed heavily on the hearts of many. Even if the worst had occurred, the haunting question of her final resting place lingered unanswered. The investigation soon reached an impasse, leaving the community to ponder whether the truth would ever emerge. The residents of Prospect were engulfed in sorrow, grieving the absence of a cherished figure and clinging to the hope of a miracle that might bring Nadia back. In 2020, after 2 arduous years of unyielding pursuit, the authorities resolved to offer a reward for any information that could lead to her discovery. They announced a substantial $350,000 reward, aiming to awaken the conscience of anyone who might hold the key to her whereabouts. This announcement reinvigorated the investigation, as the police dared to dream that this could be the pivotal moment they had long awaited. However, as the weeks turned into months, it became increasingly evident that the reward had not produced any fruitful leads. Despite the relentless endeavors of her family, friends and law enforcement, Nadia remained elusive, and the mystery surrounding her disappearance only deepened. In that same year, a significant development occurred when investigators began to consider her son, Selim, as a possible suspect. At that time, Selim was serving a 2.5-year sentence for assaulting his sister and for possession of an illegal firearm. His arrest for these offenses took place just a week after his mother was reported missing. The reasons behind the authorities' shift in focus toward him remain unclear. Nonetheless, investigators indicated that Selim's conduct was among several leads they were exploring to understand the circumstances surrounding his mother's mysterious disappearance. The situation escalated dramatically on May 23, 2020, when Selim executed a bold escape from the Glen Innes Correctional Center. It was later disclosed that he had simply walked out of the low-security facility and stolen a red Subaru WRX to facilitate his escape. This audacious act prompted an immediate and intense response from law enforcement, resulting in a large-scale manhunt for the fugitive. The following day, the stolen vehicle was located in Mori, approximately 210 kilometers from the correctional facility. The police acted swiftly to pursue the car, but the chase quickly became perilous as the vehicle sped away recklessly, leading the authorities to halt the pursuit for safety reasons. Despite this challenge, the police continued their efforts, utilizing helicopters and canine units in their search. They eventually discovered the abandoned vehicle, but Selim was not present. For 8 months, he evaded capture, remaining vigilant and frequently changing locations. The police undertook extensive searches and investigations in a determined effort to locate him. Finally, on January 11, 2021, officers from the Hawkesbury Police Area Command received a crucial tip-off indicating that Selim was hiding in a residence on New Street in Windsor. In the early morning hours, they arrived at the location and, with the assistance of the dog unit, conducted a thorough search of the property. Upon entering the residence, Selim made a frantic effort to flee through the back, but it was too late. The police apprehended him and placed him under arrest. He was subsequently taken to Windsor Police Station, where 2 outstanding warrants were executed against him for inmate escape, attempting to evade lawful custody, and motor vehicle theft. Despite Selim's capture, the search for his mother, Nadia, continued, leaving her disappearance shrouded in mystery. As time went on, the hope of locating Nadia alive diminished. Then, in March 2023, a coronial inquest into her suspected death commenced. However, before any significant revelations could emerge, the inquiry was abruptly suspended due to startling new information. While the authorities remained tight-lipped about the specifics, it became evident that attention had shifted back to Selim. Following additional investigations, the police acted decisively. On March 21, 2023, they arrested Selim, now 47, at the Wagga Wagga police station, charging him with the murder of his mother. The court was informed that he allegedly committed this grave act between December 6th and December 11th, 2018, in the Blacktown area. His request for bail was denied, and he now faces a challenging legal journey ahead. Nadia's daughter Sue felt a sense of relief upon learning of her brother Selim's arrest in connection with their mother's murder. She conveyed the family's hope that this development might lead to the discovery of Nadia's remains, allowing them to provide her with a proper burial. Nevertheless, the path forward remains uncertain, and the future of Selim's case, as well as the truth surrounding Nadia's fate, remains to be seen.
In 1984, Donna Macho resided with her family in the charming state of New Jersey. At the tender age of 19, she juggled 2 illustrious roles, a legal secretary by day and a part-time model, with aspirations of gracing the runways as a professional in the future. Donna, a striking blonde radiating allure, was the type of person everyone yearned to befriend. Yet her captivating beauty was complemented by a genuine kindness that endeared her to all. She lived in the picturesque East Windsor on Cherrybrook Lane, sharing her home with her mother, Betty, stepfather, Ronald, and her younger sister, Julie. Julie, who bore a striking resemblance to her sister, harbored dreams of emulating Donna one day. The eldest sibling, Tony, had recently embarked on her journey, leaving the Macho family reluctant to part with Donna just yet. Her parents had graciously afforded her the privacy of the basement, complete with a separate entrance, allowing her the freedom to come and go as she pleased. However, this very arrangement would later play a crucial role in the unfolding tragedy. On the evening of February 26, 1984, a seemingly ordinary Saturday night, Donna found herself without plans, though she had a work-related errand to attend to the following morning. 14-year-old Julie returned home to find her sister's car nestled in the driveway, a sign that Donna was indeed home. Eager to spend time with her beloved sister, Julie joined Donna in the basement, where they indulged in horror movies until the early hours of the morning. As the clock struck 3 a.m., Julie, feeling weary, retreated to her room to rest, leaving Donna to enjoy her solitude in front of the television. Meanwhile, Betty and Ronald were peacefully asleep in their bedroom, and shortly thereafter Julie succumbed to slumber as well. The night passed without any indication of turmoil or disturbance. The following morning, however, brought an unsettling silence to the breakfast table, as Donna was conspicuously absent. Her family initially presumed she had departed for her office job, a common occurrence given her independent nature. As the day unfolded without incident, it wasn't until dinner time that Betty's concern began to mount. It was highly unusual for Donna to be away for such an extended period without notifying her family. She had never spent a night away from home. Family dinners were a cherished tradition, unless prior engagements beckoned. Betty pondered if perhaps Donna had returned home without her noticing. As she made her way down the stairs to her daughter's basement sanctuary, she was taken aback by the disarray that greeted her. Donna was absent, yet the room bore the unmistakable signs of chaos, as if a struggle had unfolded. Known for her meticulous nature, Donna Macho's untidiness was alarming. It was then that Betty's gaze fell upon a horrifying sight in the corner, a heap of bloodied garments. Panic surged through her as she realized she had overlooked this chilling detail. Without delay, she contacted the authorities, her heart heavy with dread. After an extensive search, investigators located Donna's vehicle a mile from their home. The sleek black 1979 Chrysler, a four-door marvel, was abandoned on the shoulder of Millstone Road, just shy of the Cranberry border. All doors stood ajar, but the true horror lay within the interior, was stained with blood, from the upholstery to the ceiling, a gruesome tableau. In the chaos, officers discovered her wallet, cash, credit cards, and driver's license. Samples of the blood from both her room and the car were dispatched for forensic analysis. A meticulous examination of her room unveiled troubling evidence. Male DNA was present on some of Donna's clothing, indicating a man had invaded her sanctuary and abducted her. The specter of assault loomed large, and the unthinkable possibility of her demise weighed heavily on Betty's heart. The blood found in both locations was confirmed to belong to Donna. Regrettably, the nascent state of DNA technology offered little hope in identifying the assailant. With no leads to guide them, the mystery of Donna's whereabouts lingered, unresolved for months. The Macho family faced further heartache 6 months after Donna's disappearance when Ronald, their stepfather, passed away. The loss was unbearable for Julie and her mother. In 1986, Tony married, striving to forge a new path. A year later, in 1987, Betty and Julie relocated to Carrollton, Texas, seeking a fresh start, yet their journey was marred by relentless misfortune. They had stored their belongings in a unit, awaiting the day they would settle into a new home, a decision that would soon prove to be a grave mistake. The unit fell victim to a burglary, resulting in the theft of 16 boxes filled with Donna's cherished possessions. Irreplaceable mementos, photographs, and treasured memories vanished into thin air. This incident is particularly striking, as one would not typically expect a thief to target personal photographs or documents. Betty, already heartbroken from the loss of her husband, was further devastated by the uncertainty surrounding her daughter Donna. Tragically, Betty passed away in 1990, leaving behind a 20-year-old Julie to grapple with the loss. In her final moments, Betty extracted a promise from Julie to relentlessly pursue the truth about Donna's disappearance, no matter the cost. A decade later, the sisters finally received an answer, albeit one that brought little solace. On April 2nd, 1995, 11 years after Donna had vanished without a trace, a Boy Scout troop leader, while guiding an expedition, made a chilling discovery. Hidden within dense underbrush lay a partially clothed skeleton, wrapped in a carpet, in a secluded area near a cranberry farm. This grim find was alarmingly close to where Donna's car had been abandoned years prior. Authorities acted swiftly, and through dental records they confirmed the remains belonged to Donna Macho. Initially, the medical examiner determined that she had succumbed to a gunshot wound to the head. However, further analysis revealed the cause of death to be blunt force trauma. Thus, Donna Macho's case transitioned from a missing person investigation to a homicide. Regrettably, this was the only advancement in the case, a mere change in classification. At that time, the identity of her assailant remained a mystery. Meanwhile, Julie endeavored to rebuild her life. She found love, married, and raised 3 children, all while maintaining regular contact with New Jersey law enforcement regarding her sister's case. In 2013, tragedy struck again when Tony, now known as Tony Bartz, passed away. He was laid to rest in Little Elm, Texas, where they had shared their married life. Tragically, Tony never learned the truth behind the brutal murder of Julie's sister. Yet, a decade later, a glimmer of hope emerged. In 2022, nearly 4 decades after the heart-wrenching events unfolded, authorities made the pivotal decision to revisit the investigation surrounding the case of Donna Macho. Their initial course of action involved transferring all original evidence to the Central Regional Laboratory of the State Police of New Jersey, encompassing DNA samples and fingerprints meticulously gathered from the crime scene. In a stunning development, officials announced in April 2023 that they had identified Nathaniel Harvey as the individual accountable for the tragic demise of Donna Macho. Harvey, a man with a notorious criminal past, had already met his end while incarcerated. The breakthrough stemmed from male DNA discovered in Donna's residence during the original inquiry in 1984. This evidence, which bore no legitimate explanation for its presence, ultimately facilitated the long-awaited resolution of the case. It was disclosed that Harvey, who had been employed at the Cranberry Farm and was initially considered a person of interest, was indeed the perpetrator. At the time, investigators were unable to construct a case against him due to the absence of DNA technology. Over the years, Harvey had faced multiple arrests for various offenses, but it was a particularly heinous crime committed in June 1985 that secured his imprisonment. A 37-year-old widow, Irene Schnapp, was discovered murdered in the sanctuary of her Plainsboro apartment. Her lifeless body was found by a concerned co-worker who, alarmed by several days of silence, decided to check on her. Investigators determined that Irene had suffered a fatal blow to the head from a metal object. A bloody fingerprint on her pillow and a footprint on the floor provided chilling evidence of the crime. The absence of forced entry led authorities to suspect that Irene's assailant was someone familiar to her. This line of inquiry initially casts suspicion on Peter, a neighbor known to harbor feelings for Irene. However, despite the focus on him, no substantial evidence emerged to connect Peter to the crime, ultimately leading to his exoneration. Attention then turned to Nathaniel Harvey, a notorious figure infamous for his home invasions and assaults on women. During the interrogation, detectives observed that Harvey's shoe size corresponded with the footprint discovered at the crime scene. Furthermore, they found a Seiko watch belonging to Irene in Harvey's vehicle. After 3 days of rigorous questioning, Harvey admitted to taking her life. However, a significant oversight occurred. The confession went unrecorded. Subsequently, Harvey retracted his admission, asserting his innocence regarding Irene's tragic end. Nevertheless, the evidence against him was sufficiently compelling to secure a conviction. He received a life sentence for Irene's murder, remaining incarcerated from his arrest in 1985 until he died in 2020 at Southwood State Prison, despite numerous appeals. Julie Macho, now known as Julie Berger, was 54 years old and a grandmother. She had also served as an elected official on the council in New Fairview, Texas. The revelation about her sister came as a shock when she received that fateful call from the New Jersey police. Julie had maintained connections with individuals in East Windsor through the Heightstown High Memorial page on Facebook, striving to advance her sister's investigation. At times, she felt frustrated for not being there with her sister that night, pondering if her presence could have altered the outcome. Yet, it was conceivable that, as a child herself, she might have faced the same fate. For years, her family sought answers through trackers, private investigators, and psychics, yearning to uncover the truth about their beloved Donna. Finally, having a name provided a measure of closure. Julie cherishes the memory of the day she and her husband retrieved Donna's remains. With the investigation concluded, a delicate ladybug landed on her arm. In that serene moment, she felt a profound connection, believing it was Donna reaching out, expressing gratitude and a sense of peace at last. On June 1st, 2018, an off-duty firefighter embarked on a leisurely bait fishing excursion with 2 companions, navigating the serene waters just north of the Boynton Beach Inlet in Palm Beach County, Florida. As their boat drifted approximately 50 yards from the shore, an unsettling sight caught their attention: a lifeless infant, face down in the water. Recognizing the gravity of the situation, Lemieux refrained from disturbing the scene and promptly contacted emergency services, awaiting the arrival of law enforcement. Upon their arrival, deputies from the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office confirmed the tragic discovery. The body belonged to a healthy, full-term female infant, estimated to be less than 2 weeks old. Subsequent drift analysis indicated that the child had been in the ocean for 1 to 2 days, and despite the absence of visible trauma, her death was classified as a homicide. Autopsy findings pointed to suffocation as the cause of death, revealing that the infant had likely been born in a medical facility, as evidenced by a clipped umbilical cord and a needle mark on her foot. Initially, investigators speculated that the child might have Caribbean roots, based on DNA analysis suggesting a blend of African and Asian ancestry. This led local authorities to reach out to law enforcement in the Bahamas, yet no reports of missing infants surfaced. They also concluded that the baby was unlikely to have originated from a migrant vessel, although the rationale behind this determination was not disclosed. As the investigation progressed, detectives faced the formidable challenge of uncovering the identity of the child. Questions loomed. Who was the mother? Who could so callously discard this innocent life? Despite sifting through 22 tips and examining over 700 baby records from Broward and Palm Beach counties, no viable leads emerged. Authorities appealed to the public for help, offering a $10,000 reward for credible information, yet this initiative yielded no significant breakthroughs. The infant's DNA was submitted to the combined DNA index system, yet no promising matches emerged. As time elapsed, the child remained both unclaimed and unidentified, eventually earning the name Baby June. Despite the diligent efforts of investigators to find the baby's parents, the case grew cold merely days after the initial discovery. It wasn't until 4 years later, in 2022, that a breakthrough occurred. In June of that year, the Cold Case Unit of the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office, under the guidance of Detective Brittany Christoffel, took charge of the investigation. They forwarded Baby June's DNA to Parabon Nanolabs, where it was entered into a public genealogy database. Fortuitously, a match was identified with Baby June's first cousin once removed. This led investigators to meticulously reconstruct the family tree, ultimately identifying a potential father for Baby June. The man, whose name remains undisclosed, was forthcoming with investigators upon their inquiry. After confirming his paternity through additional DNA testing, he expressed that he did not know of the child's existence. However, he directed authorities to his former girlfriend, Arya Singh. He recounted that he met Arya at Santa Lucia's High School in Lantana, where they were both students, and their relationship lasted until September or October of 2017. He mentioned relocating to Tallahassee for work in May 2018, around which time their phone conversations resumed. In August or September of 2018, he visited West Palm Beach for a concert with her, during which Arya revealed that she had been pregnant in the summer of 2018, but had taken care of it. He admitted to being perplexed by her comment, assuming it referred to an abortion. In the days that followed, he attempted to discuss the baby with her, but she evaded the topic, leading him to ultimately abandon the inquiry. With the conclusion that the father was not involved in Baby June's demise, detectives began to focus their attention on 29-year-old Arya Singh. In the latter part of July 2022, following an extensive period of surveillance, detectives procured DNA evidence from a discarded coffee cup. The DNA found on the cup's rim unequivocally established that Arya was the mother of Baby June. Subsequently, detectives secured a warrant to examine Arya's cell phone location data, which revealed her presence at the lifeguard station on North Ocean Boulevard in Ocean Ridge, adjacent to the Boynton Beach Inlet, at approximately 9:35 p.m. on May 30th, 2018, merely 2 days before the discovery of the infant's remains. Her phone remained in that vicinity until 10:01 p.m., and by 10:06 p.m., the GPS data indicated her departure from the area. As investigators delved into her Google search history from that period, they uncovered a trove of incriminating information regarding her online activities. On the morning of May 30th, 2018, at 8:41 a.m., just hours before her phone's location was logged at the Boynton Beach Inlet, Arya had searched for affordable hotels in the vicinity, including options in Boca Raton, Delray Beach, and Boynton Beach. Between 8:41 a.m. and 10:45 a.m., she conducted 8 hotel searches. From May 30th to June 30th, 2018, there were a staggering 574 searches related to Boynton Inlet. Notably, between 11:20 p.m. on May 30th and 9:28 p.m. on May 31st, investigators identified 34 searches for news about Palm Beach County. Arya also frequented websites associated with the Boynton Beach Inlet on 27 occasions. From June 1st to June 30th, she perused 64 articles concerning Baby June across both local and national platforms. Furthermore, she conducted searches for the CODIS DNA database, her name, Arya Singh, and the phrase Baby San Juan Trinidad. Detectives later noted that some of her family hailed from Trinidad. In September 2022, deputies from the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office apprehended Arya Singh, who was then employed as a security guard at Lynn University in Boca Raton. They conducted interviews with Arya, along with several of her relatives and friends, to reconstruct the complete narrative. When recounting her experience from that fateful day, Arya claimed that on May 30th, 2018, she had retreated to a hotel room due to feeling unwell. She expressed a desire to avoid the discomfort of remaining at home, fearing she would disturb others and face their probing inquiries. In a striking turn of events, Arya gave birth to a daughter in the confines of a hotel bathroom. She maintained that she was entirely unaware of her pregnancy until the moment of delivery. In a tragic misjudgment, she placed the newborn in a backpack, convinced that the child was stillborn, and neglected to check on her. This backpack accompanied her as she attended a class at Florida Atlantic University, leaving her in a state of uncertainty regarding the fate of the infant's remains. That very night, she made her way to the Boynton Beach Inlet, where she callously discarded the baby into the water. Disturbingly, Arya revealed to investigators that she had never given her child a name. In the aftermath of this harrowing event, she followed the unfolding story of baby June closely, yet she never stepped forward to acknowledge her child. Reports indicate that she had no other offspring. Detectives are convinced that the baby was born alive, but had succumbed by the time she was cast into the water. Ultimately, Arya faced charges of first-degree murder concerning her infant daughter, pleading not guilty in January 2023. She is currently detained at the Palm Beach County Jail, awaiting trial, where a conviction could result in a life sentence or even the death penalty.